Hey, we are back. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me again tonight. I do appreciate you all so very much. Tonight, guys, we're looking into the weird case of a very sad, too. A pregnant Amish woman that was found dead in her home, and another story out of Oklahoma titled The House of Secrets. Very, very twisted and sad story. And maybe something else at the very end, guys. But thank you for being here to do this with me. I appreciate you so much. And as I always say, let's get this show on the road. Here we go. Here we go. No. It doesn't get to do it again. I'm back. What's up, guys? Oh, welcome back. And I hope you're having a great night. Thank you for joining me again. I do appreciate you. As always, guys, on your way in that door, please make sure you're hitting that like button, leaving me some DNA, and sharing this out to all your friends and neighbors, the dog, the cat, the mailman, the milkman, whoever you think would want to hear my big mouth running. Send them on in. Come on down, guys. It's great to be back with you guys. Thank you guys for joining me earlier as we covered the Koberger hearing. Interesting as it was, it is what it is. Just one more leaf in that book until we get to that trial, guys. So it's just such a mess. It really is such a mess. But it is what it is. So welcome back. Thank you guys again for joining me. Thank you, mods, for being here. I appreciate you so very much. 1 second, guys. I'm trying to set something up. Okay. I got to turn this down. I always got to turn this down. I hope you all are settled in for the night and are having a great one. Make sure you guys get comfy. We'll be here for a minute. Grab your coffee, tea, whatever it may be. Come on in, sit down, please, and have a conversation with me. The stuff we're going to be talking about tonight is definitely different. The first case that we're looking into is Something you don't hear about it very often in the news because the Amish communities are so separate from the rest of us and very privated in a lot of things they do. So that one was interesting. The secondary story we're looking at is insanity to me, folks. It is so wildly crazy and very sad at the same time. That's why I wanted to bring this to you guys. And of course, once again, also there is a at the tail end of this, I'm gonna throw it out there too because I want to get the word out because you guys know how I am about missing children. There is a teenager that's been missing for 3 days in Hendersonville, Tennessee. So I'm going to be putting that news out there too for everybody to see. And as always, guys, please share all this out because we got to take care of these kids. We got to find these kids. We got to keep these kids at home. And if not, we got to bring them home, just like Elijah Vu. Constantly going to be whacking on these cases to make sure that we can help in any way we can. That's why I do this. And I appreciate all of you that support that as well. Miss Sherry, Wisdom Speaks is a very big advocate when it comes to these missing children. And definitely pushes this as much as are quite a few other people in here. And I appreciate the fact that you guys do that so very much. So thank you for that. And just for being who you guys are, because you guys are amazing peeps. So again, guys, hit that like button if you will on your way in the door. Share this out to everybody that you think would want to hear about it. I'm going to wait here just a few minutes to get some more peeps in here. We got 43 people in here right now, and looks like we got 30 likes. We're catching up. So let's see who we got here. So far, looks like Miss Kimberly KB's in the house. Welcome back. Good to see you. Philip Hughes, again, wonderful to see you, my friend. Thank you for joining us tonight. Senny Kerp and Big Ohio Al in the house. Welcome back, guys. Great to see you. Teresa, hey, good to see you tonight, of course. Without fail, Brandy B, the OG in the house, as always. 100%, Sherry. Thank you. Chad Button, welcome back, brother. Good to see you from Iowa, upstate New York. Hey, what's going on, sis? Good to see you tonight. Harsh One Shelly True Crime. Thank you for jumping back in. There she is. Miss Heather Fitzgerald. Welcome to the team, Miss Fitzgerald. We appreciate you very much. And I know you'll do wonderful things. So thank you for being here again. One of my new mods that go along with all these other awesome moderators I have in here. Joanne, welcome back. Great to see you. Excuse me. Never fear truth. I got it. Welcome. Good to see you. It's a new name. Great to have you here. Appreciate you very much. Miss Teresa, the other Teresa, good to see you. Joanne, of course. Tina B, welcome back. Great to see you tonight. Miss Brittany, thank you for joining us. Great to have you here. Great to see you. Let's see here. Jingles, welcome back to you. There's my Doodle Bugs in the house. Welcome back, Doodle. Great to see you. Of course, Wisdom Speaks, Miss Sherry. Always a pleasure to have here. Another one of the amazing moderators in here. War Eagle, another mod. What's happening? War Eagle, roll tide, roll. But you know you're awesome. Thank you for being here tonight. Hope Flokes, Miss Val, another mod. Good to see you. I'm telling you guys, they're here and they are badass. Thank you for joining tonight, all of you. La. Come on in. Grab a chair. Janet Rip, welcome back to you. Great to see you. The Shack Lady, hey, good to see you. Good to have you here. Let me see something here. Wait a minute. What now? Oh, okay. Thank you, Shack Lady, and thank you for joining us tonight. Virginia Wolf, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us again. I do appreciate you. Let me check the bottom down here and see if anybody. April QT, welcome back. Good to see you. Charlotte Gross, same to you. Great to have you here. I'm right there with you, Sherry. I am right there with you. There's going to be a long line of people. So we better start saving, folks. Woke up in 1984. Welcome back to you. Louisiana Lifer, welcome. Great to see you. Julia, welcome back. Great to have you back. And again, yes, like Chad said, happy hump day to everybody. Happy Wednesday, February 28th, 2024. This month is over, folks. We are at the end days of this month. Polly Pepper, welcome back. Miss Pamela, good to see you. MIA, no mo. You're in here and we know where you're at. Welcome back. Good to see you, dear. Thank you for being here tonight. Come on in, everybody. Come on in. I think we'll all be together in there, Brandy. I do agree on that one. Evening to you, my friend Philip. Great to see you, sir. All right, all right. Walt Harris, what's going on? Good to see you, sir. Jan, welcome back. Kevin Harshaw, hey, hey, how are you, brother? Good to see you again. And last but not least, the best in the house, Mama Bear in the chat. You're supposed to be sleeping, my sleepy friend. No, she'll fall asleep while she's in chat listening. That's what she does. She just loves us so much she has to be here one way or another. Thank you, sir. Mr. Chad Button dropping a membership. Looks like Mark and Betty was gifted. That's awesome, Chad. Thank you, brother. You are appreciated. Again, I appreciate that so very much. Absolutely, Heather. Welcome to the crew and the family, because it's a great crew and a wonderful family. That's right. We get one extra day this month because it's leap year. I just found something out today that I was quite upset about. My wife told me I missed Ash Wednesday last week. Or on the 14th, I think it was Valentine's Day. I'm ashamed of myself. I usually keep up pretty good with all those things, so I have to make up for it somehow. Thank you very much again, Chad. God bless, brother. And welcome, Mark and Betty, to the sauce. It is now Lent, yes. The best time of year for me because my wife doesn't argue about me eating fish. She hates fish. She doesn't like the way it smells. She doesn't like me cooking in the house. But she doesn't argue with me because it's Lent. I know, right? New York. I was so like, I just sat there like, I can't believe that happened. I can't believe I did that. I was so ashamed of myself. Exactly, Heather. Exactly. Nikki Animate, welcome. Good to see you. Oh yeah, hon. I've been covering that case since it started, Teresa. But thank you for putting it up there for me to be able to do that with. I do appreciate you. Don't like the way Ellie has been doing things. I think it's part of the why so many things are happening to us, and our kids are suffering because of it. Truth for them all. It's a good point there, Shelley. Good point. Shrove Tuesday, then Ash Wednesday, and then of course we cannot ever forget about Good Friday. That's an important one too. Fish Wednesday, Pizza Friday, or Fish Wednesday and Fish Friday. I'll eat it as often as I can because I love fish. I love fish, and my wife does not. She detests it, unfortunately. So I don't get it very often. Again, Senny, great to see you. We got 72 peeps in here with 52 likes, guys. We're 20 off. We can make that happen. Come on now, please. I hate fish. I'm sorry, Joanne. Well, I already don't really eat cake, but I'm trying to I'm trying to give up carbs basically completely for Lent. That's gonna suck. I'm gonna do my best. My very best. Seafood is the best thing on the planet. Seafood and steak are like amazing. Completely. All right, all right. I got lint in my lint. Yeah, the carb thing is it's hard, but I need to. Um, I was gonna try smoking because my wife, my mother-in-law, and I are all gonna try to quit. I cannot promise that that's gonna happen. That's why I didn't want to even try, especially not right now. I'm gonna start my carnivore diet very soon. There you go. I love me some fish. Fried walleye. I know, Doodle, right? Good luck. Fried walleye, catfish. I love fried catfish. As long as it's done right. Mm-hmm. 100%, Heather. We got 72 peeps in here. Come on in, guys, please, if you will. Oh, you're gonna make me hungry, Heather. Walt Harris said I gave up cheaper for Lent. Yeah, I was gonna say I gave up drama for Lent, but that would be a big mistake because then it would jump all over me. So tilapia. You know what? I used to love tilapia in New York. And then I watched a documentary. Mm-mm. I'll still eat it, but not like I did. I love it broiled. I watched a documentary on it, you guys, and it was so disheartening because I loved it. Come to find out that tilapia is one of the bottom feeder fish, kind of like a pleco. Catfish is too, but not as bad as tilapia. And I was just like, damn it. They're not, I mean, they're not bad for you, but they're just a lot of gook that they eat gets in their bodies, you know? So it is what it is. I still Swy as another one. It's supposedly a bottom feeder. They're both good. It is so very good. I love fish, period. I could eat it all day long, guys. Every day I could eat Chinese food and seafood, period. If I could live off that, yeah, kind of like carp, Janet. I won't eat carp. I can't do it. But yeah, they're kind of like carp, Swy and tilapia. Now, if you can find it, because it does exist, farm raised tilapia and Swy. They're not. They're not bad to eat at all because they're raised on what's there. They're not raised in the crappy, you know what I mean? Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. That's awesome. I love it. Doodlebug, Jan, yes, catfish is great. A place where Texas Pete is king. Salmon is awesome. I love salmon. Halibut, ling cod, rock cod. Rock cod. I like Alaskan cod too. Very good and meaty. I like the meaty fishes, not the fishes. The meaty fish, not the flaky. I don't like the flaky type, like perch. I think it's perch and haddock. I'm not a big fan of those. I'll eat them, but they're not my favorites. Flounder's good, even though it only has one eye. I love clams, mussels. I love it all. Seafood in general, I love just period. Orange Ruffy, that's one of my favorites. That is what when I was a kid, my mom would get that all the time. Welcome, Jilly Bean and Cat Ladies in the house. Good to see you. It's supposed to be called Poor Man's Lobster, supposedly. And it's really good. I just had some not too long ago. Georgia Rain, good to see you. Sophia B4, good to see you. Me too, Carolyn. I could live on seafood all day, every day. I love it, love it, love it. Shrimp, clams, mussels, sea bass is amazing. Red snapper is amazing. There's so many good fish out there that it's all good. Shark, swordfish, um, mackerel. I love it all, guys. Love it all. I could eat salmon out of a can without even blinking twice. Smelts. I love fried smelts. my heritage. We used to make those all the time. Wide mouth bass and saltwater. I've heard that wasn't bad. I've eaten bass and I've eaten bluegill, and actually they're not that bad. Shrimp and lobster are given, Senny. Sushi, I'm not a fan of either. More of a chicken girl, 2-piece with taters. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with chicken. I'm not a fan of it because I've had so much of it. But like chicken strips, I love. I could do that all the time. We didn't even get to go back to that conversation, Harsh, about Hoosiers. Yep, Carolyn, good thick whitefish, right? Cod, catfish, and bass. There you go, Jan. See? And here we are talking about food again, guys. Never fails. I'm telling you. I need to start a third channel and just make it a food channel. Food reviews with Dago. Faux show. All right, guys. Let me get something up here. We got 89 people in here. We got 59 likes. We need 30 more. Come on, guys. Please, if you will, just pretend that you like me. Fish and chips. My favorite meal in the world, April. Catfish is awesome, Carolyn. Farm raised catfish is better than the like riverbed cats and stuff. I'm not a fan of those, but I did too at first. Okay. That was funny. Hold up a minute, guys. And with the first one we're looking into, guys, this is just a start. There's not a lot of info on this, so I'm just getting it kicked out there and getting it started off. No, hey Groot, what's up? Good to see ya. I do not. Never heard of Culver's. We don't have that around here. Noel, good to see you. I love sardines and was well with saltines. Yes, I love them in hot sauce, Louisiana hot sauce, and mustard, or just plain old sardines. I love them. Now, Doodle's got a side eye, Stenny. You guys are great. 96 peeps in here. We're getting there, guys. Come on now. Gary Epley, welcome. Good to see you. Good to have you there. To the other Teresa, good to see you. Yeah, but like I said, guys, there's not a lot to this case, okay? Because there's not a lot. They haven't put out a lot yet, but it is definitely it's sad because of the fact that she was 6 months pregnant. So, 1 second. One second, guys. All right. My wife is going over this one right now herself, too. The other sad thing with this case, guys, you're about to find out, is along with this woman losing her life, being murdered, there were 2 other young children in the home. Thank God there was nothing that happened to them, but they were there, and it makes me wonder what they saw. It's just very sad, and I'm a little unnerved about that. Almost to 100. Hey, hey. Good stuff. All right, guys, let me know how this sounds, and we'll get this kicked off.
3-year-old Amish woman in Pennsylvania. Officials say she was 6 months pregnant. They suspect she was murdered. Stephanie Ramos is on the scene in Amish country. Good morning, Stephanie.
George, good morning. The road to my left here in Spartansburg, Pennsylvania, usually doesn't see much vehicle traffic, mostly horse and buggy. But recently, state police cars lined this road after a pregnant Amish woman was found dead inside a home.
This morning, investigators descending upon this quiet road in rural Pennsylvania, desperately searching for clues surrounding the murder of a pregnant Amish woman, Rebecca Byler.
The death is currently being investigated as a criminal homicide. We are aggressively investigating all available leads.
Police finding the 23-year-old inside her house Monday afternoon, calling the circumstances of her death suspicious. ABC affiliate WJET reporting that the victim was 6 months pregnant and that her 2 young children were home when the body was discovered. They say her husband was reportedly not home during the time of the murder.
I'm just absolutely heartbroken that this has happened. I'm very concerned about the Amish community and worried for them.
We want to solve this just like the community wants us to solve it. So any information that's out there, we want people to come forward and help us resolve this issue.
According to WJET, family members say they saw a red Jeep in the driveway around 10 a.m. the day Byler was killed, and that the Jeep was also seen driving up and down the road. Neighbors now left in shock as police have not yet identified any suspects.
Everybody's just stunned. Nobody could even imagine that this kind of stuff is going on.
State police says they are trying to answer so many questions. They are asking people in this area if they saw anyone suspicious in this area to call police. Guys.
Yeah, if you saw something, say something, Stephanie. Thank you so much for that.
All right, so that's the kickoff. That 1 second, guys. Give me a second here. All right, we're going to jump to this one next. Some of these things are going to have some of the same little bits and pieces, but there's other fragments of information in it. That's why I'm showing you different clips to give you as much info on it as we can. Noel, no, most of them do not use electricity. The Mennonite religion do use electricity. Some Amish do use it, but not very often. Not very often at all.
The murder of a pregnant Amish woman has rattled a community near Erie, Pennsylvania. 23-year-old Rebecca Byler was found dead at a home in Crawford County on Monday morning. Her 2 children were home at the time, but they were not injured. Her husband says he came home and found her body. Residents in the small town are worried and want answers.
We're just a very tight-knit community, and I'm just absolutely heartbroken that this has happened. And I'm very, very concerned about the Amish community and worried for them.
It's definitely shameful that anything like this could go on here. Everyone's surprised.
This is very shocking.
State police have not released specific details on Byler's manner of death, but we do know they're investigating it as a criminal homicide. Byler was reportedly 6 months pregnant with her 3rd child.
The husband was working, I believe. That's the way I got it. And when he came home from work that afternoon, that's how he came in and he found it. And like I said, it's scary because the other 2 children were in the home and very possibly saw and heard this. I'm not sure of their ages. They were small children, I believe, which thank God nothing happened to them. But yeah, red Jeep in the Amish community is strange. Typically, the only vehicles you're going to see, I live very close to this, folks, like literally like an hour away from this, okay? What's up, Clue? I would imagine, Noel, that they did see something. You know, again, if they're very young, what are they going to say? You know what I mean? Yeah, and cameras are a huge no-no in the Amish community. Zach Pyle, welcome. Good to see you. Thank you for joining. Says, I lived up in Springsboro, about a half hour from Spartansburg, worked for Crawford County, and managed grant funding for a bridge on Firth Road, just a way up from Fish Flats Road. Well, thank you, Zach. Appreciate that, and appreciate having you here. Thank you for joining us today. Oh yeah, we're close, April. We're close. I'm like literally, it's not even a full hour's drive. I can get there in no time. Let me see here. I'm trying to find something that's a little bit newer. Oh, this is another one. Like I said, guys, good to see you, Cluey. There are gonna be pieces of info in each one of these that you're gonna have already seen, but like I said, there's more that some that have newer pieces in it. So there's very hard to get anything out of this.
Pennsylvania State Police confirming today the identity of a young Crawford County woman found dead Monday afternoon.
This murder leaving the entire Spartansburg community devastated and with more questions than answers. Chelsea Swift reports tonight.
A murder in Crawford County is impacting the entire Spartansburg community. An Amish woman was found Monday afternoon inside a residence located on Fish Flats Road in Sparta Township. Pennsylvania State Police confirming the victim as 23-year-old Rebecca Byler.
Bunch of good people. Everyone seems to get along with them. Everybody's just stunned. Nobody could even imagine that this kind of stuff is going on.
One business owner says when tragedy strikes the local Amish community, it impacts everyone in Spartansburg.
We're just a very tight-knit community, and I'm just absolutely heartbroken that this has happened. And I'm very, very concerned about the Amish community and worried for them.
It's definitely shameful that anything like this could go on here.
Again.
Everyone's surprised.
This is very shocking, and especially to not know what happened and what's going on. And it's just very, very shocking.
Chelsea Swift, Jet 24 Action.
And that's the one thing that is true. My mother-in-law used to own a taxi. It was called Sherry's Taxi, and that's what she did. Was she drove the Amish for years. So I got to know a lot of them. They're good people, but there are a lot of things that go on in that community that we don't see because it's a very close-knit, kept type community. Okay. I'm not saying that there's something like that in this case, but it's questionable to me because if an outsider is in this one of these communities, it's very well known throughout the community. There's somebody here that's not normally here. And that's where my questions lie with this. Like who saw what and what went on, and you know what I'm saying? That's the thing. So all right, let me find something newer here. Sorry, guys. I was trying to get as much info on this as I can. Okay, we got updates now. Good. Hold on. Yeah, that's the thing too, is how would you not? Anybody should have heard something. Gunshots. If there was gun used, then you should have heard it. Now I don't know if this was a robbery went bad. When I watched the original news case release on this, everybody was saying, "Look at the husband, look at the husband, look at the husband." A lot of people feel that way. I get it, but you got to be careful with that kind of thing because how can I say it? Like their customs are different. And it's very possible. I have another case I can show you guys to relate to this about something happening in the same sense, and it ended up being the husband. But we can't jump to conclusions, but that's who they go with immediately, typically. Welcome, Mr. Gaming. Good to see you. Good to have you here. Right, Clue.
Investigators descending upon this quiet road in rural Pennsylvania, desperately searching for clues surrounding the murder of a pregnant Amish woman, Rebecca Byler.
The death is currently being investigated as a criminal homicide. We are aggressively investigating all available leads.
Police finding the 23-year-old inside her house Monday afternoon, calling the circumstances of her death suspicious. ABC affiliate WJET reporting that the victim was 6 months pregnant and that her 2 young children were home when the body was discovered. They say her husband was reportedly not home during the time of the murder.
I'm just absolutely heartbroken that this has happened. I'm very concerned about the Amish community and worried for them.
We want to solve this just like the community wants us to solve it. So any information that's out there, we want people to come forward and help us resolve this issue.
According to WJET, family members say they saw a red Jeep in the driveway around 10 a.m. the day Byler was killed, and that the Jeep was also seen driving up and down the road. Neighbors now left in shock as police have not yet identified any suspects.
Everybody's just stunned. Nobody could even imagine that this kind of stuff is going on.
State police are now working around the clock to try and answer so many questions, asking anyone if they saw a suspicious person in this area to call police. Stephanie Ramos, ABC News, Spartansburg, Pennsylvania.
All right, guys, hold on here. Come on now. All right, where's the newest? There was another update just put out. Hold on. No, this is probably going to have the same pieces like the other one. Like I said, guys, there's not a lot because these things are kept quiet in those communities.
Investigating the death of a 23-year-old pregnant Amish woman. According to troopers, the death of Rebecca Byler is a homicide. They say a family member found her body at her home in Sparta Township in Crawford County just after noon yesterday. Troopers say they have not brought anyone in for questioning as of this morning, but say they are investigating all leads.
They're going to continue to follow up on any leads that come in. Every single lead that comes in, of course, they're going to follow up on it. So we encourage the public to call in anything that seems suspicious. If they noticed anything yesterday or in previous days, please call that information in as well.
State police have not disclosed how she was killed. Pennsylvania State Police.
See, that's going to make a big difference too. Is if it's released how she was murdered, then that's important to know, because typically there's very few guns in the Amish community. They're only used for certain things, hunting, and that's it. And the guns that they use are not what you'd find on the streets. But like I said, to see a Jeep, depending on the type of Jeep in that community, would be strange, obviously. There was another update that just came in. Is this might be it right here. Again, my apologies. I can't give you guys a whole lot on this, but again, it's because there's not a whole lot out. They need to do a press conference on this. They need to let out some details so people can know what to do.
The death is currently being investigated as a criminal homicide. We are aggressively investigating all available leads. Any information that's out there, we want people to come forward and help us resolve this issue.
What I don't understand is why they're holding back on the manner of death. I don't know if there's a reason for that. WB, good to see you. Absolutely, April. They did show a little bit of that map there, but hold on a minute. I got you, Carolyn. Very, very. The details are vague. It's horrible. I mean, they're asking for the public's help with this, but nobody knows anything to put it out. That's why I'm putting it out, just to give people like an idea of what's going on, so that it can be put out.
Good evening. The Amish community in Spartansburg is in shock tonight after a pregnant mother was found murdered inside her home. Tonight, state police are asking for the community's help finding her killer. The 21,000 block of Fish Flats Road in Spartansburg usually doesn't see much vehicle traffic, mostly just horse and buggy. But Monday, marked and unmarked state police cars lined the street in front of this home after a pregnant Amish woman was found dead inside.
PSP Corey got a call through 911 of a deceased female that was found at the scene here. We were responded. At this point, we have confirmed the identity of the female, that she is deceased, and it looks like suspicious circumstances.
The victim's family and neighbors tell us she was in her early 20s and 6 months pregnant. They say her husband came home and found her body. The couple's 2 children were unharmed.
Immediate family of the victim have been notified, and we have members of the Amish community here, coming down as well.
We spoke with a gentleman who asked us not to show his face. He says he drives for the family and knew the victim well. He was driving another Amish woman when they got the news.
I says, let's hope when we get down by the corner, we come around that corner, there's not a car or person in sight. And it was just packed with people. And I said, oh my God, I can't believe it. Why would somebody do that to a young girl?
That's the question state police are now working around the clock to answer.
We'll be on scene for several hours, conducting a forensic search of the entire property and inside the residence as well.
State police are asking anyone who may have seen a suspicious vehicle or person in the area to call state police in Corey.
I agree, Jan. That community is very small, okay? And if that Jeep is not from that area, they'll notice it and they'll know that it's not from that area. That will definitely, and that's the other problem. There's no cameras around there. You know how a lot of us have cameras around our homes and this and that? They don't have that kind of stuff. So that's going to be another problem. That's what I was saying, Walt. I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to pull this up on the map. That's a good point. Thank you, Walt. This is completely separate from most of the other communities and the Amish communities. It's out there by itself alone. Whoever went to this area to do this knows this area. They know this place, okay? That's what I'm saying. Route 8 is not far away. A mile or two goes to Erie and down to Pittsburgh. Right, exactly, Zach. I'm not far from there myself, Zach. So, and Walt lives in that vicinity too. Kind of knows the area. Typically, Sherry, it would be if they're Amish. They're in that community, okay? All things, good to see you. Forensics might not help how many of them Amish are in the system. That's the problem. They're usually not. They're usually not. And if it is somebody that's in the community, good luck. You're not going to pull anything out of CODIS for that, okay? That's my thing right there. I believe that too. They knew she was home alone. They probably knew that she was pregnant. They probably knew that she, all about her. Or if they said the Jeep was driving up and down the road, this could be completely random, folks, which is weird to me. And it doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's very possible still. Okay. The news lady said that was the working barn or something. I missed that, Sherry. I'm sorry. Yeah, that wasn't even a realistic thing, but yeah, I see what you're saying. This kind of stuff can't happen, guys. This is just sad. That's what I'm saying. What is the motive? That's a good question, WB. Was it a possible robbery? And that makes me wonder because a lot of the Amish have money. They keep their money with them. They don't. A lot of them don't use banks. Okay. And it makes me wonder if it's somebody that knew that maybe drove a crew that the father was part of, or that drove the mother and knew that she had money. Sometimes they use different drivers. Okay. I'm just saying it's very possible that that was the case. It could have, or Bobby's got a good point. It could just be a hate crime. There's just some really ignorant people out here. It could have just been just pure evil. Okay. Good to see you, Licity. Is it from the escaped inmate from Pennsylvania? I'm not 100% sure. And that's true. They don't trust our government. Can you blame them sometimes, But they keep a lot of their money in their own homes and to themselves because of that. I do know that some of them do use banks in some senses because I've driven a few to help my mother-in-law, and we stopped at a bank and so on and so forth. But let me pull this up on a map real quick, guys, and show you where exactly this is. And what the area is like. Right, Teresa. That's what I was saying. Okay. And as you'll be able to see this here. Deborah Lynn, welcome. Good to see you, dear. T2014, what's going on? That I don't know, T. I know that area, around that area, is a lot of it does have older order as far as those terms for Amish. Yes, old school Amish, we'll call it. So, okay, this is Fish Flats Road right here. You see, it's a long road, guys. But look around. There's really nothing around this. Okay, nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing but farms and homes, private homes. You see what I'm saying? There's really nothing around this at all. Exactly. They're very good people, most of them. I've never had a bad interaction with an Amish person. They're very helpful. Very, very hard workers, the men and the women. So as you guys can see, this is all farmland and wooded areas. There's nothing around this, guys. Like there's no large city very close to this at all. So go back to what, Clue? Back this way. I was looking for a red Jeep. I see that there. It's like a burgundy van. That's not a Jeep. It could be just somebody passing through this area. And it was just random, but I doubt that. To the right. Okay. Hold on, let me back up a little bit to see a wider space area. That's a pickup truck. It's like an orangish red. I don't think we're gonna see this Jeep in here. Across the road. Which way? This way? Oh yeah, red. I saw what you. It was the that marker probably is what you probably saw. Okay. But like I said, guys, if you look at this area, this is all this is, all the way around here, period. This is sad. This is very sad. This is obviously I hope they catch this person. This is a double homicide, period. 6 months that baby could have been born and lived, okay? So there's no excuse for that not to be one of the charges at all. Let me see something here. Okay. That's kind of my thought too, is that in my opinion, somebody that they knew or she knew or was comfortable with, um, for the community to not, but then again, like I said, that the community said that they did notice this vehicle, and they didn't, I'm surprised nobody went that direction. But it happens a lot more than you'll think, guys. It really does. And unfortunately, that's really it, guys, as far as what I can show you. But I wanted to get it out here and get that started, okay? Um, I'll be following this all the way through 100%. So every time I get an update, you guys will get an update. That's what bugs me the most. Yeah, exactly, Brandy. That's what I was meaning. And then they were saying that family members said that they saw the Jeep, which means like the neighbor, basically, going up and down the road. And then to see the Jeep in the driveway, why wouldn't you head that direction? If these people typically will not just allow people to show up around there without getting involved in figuring out who they are. You know what I mean? It'll definitely be double homicide. There's no two ways around that. Um, this next story comes from 2 months ago. I'm sorry, guys. This is when it was released, was 2 months ago, and I've been following this like off to the side, but not like really on top of it until recently. Exactly. That was my thing too, Clue. That's the other thing too, Virginia. Is it the husband's baby? Because typically that doesn't go on in that community, but things happen everywhere. I was reading about 2 or 3 other cases where, not that long ago, okay, where this woman was pregnant with twins. I think it happened in Lancaster, PA, and the husband unalived her because they didn't belong to him, and he found out about it through the community. It goes on a lot more often than is put out there. They just don't. It doesn't get out there. It happens a lot, guys. It's really sad. That's it right there. That's why I would imagine that if somebody would see this Jeep pull in the driveway, especially a family member, you're typically another man cannot come into your home if the husband is not home. Right. Unless they forced their way into the home. Okay. That's what my thought is with that. Or unless it's a relative, like a male relative, the father, a brother, and that's not even looked at like a brother or anything like that. They still don't like that. But a father to her possibly, or his father, an elder can enter the home. But an elder Amish is not going to pull in the driveway in a red Jeep. That's where the problem is. I have some other things I'm going to show you guys as I pull it together about the Amish scenarios. But I just wanted to get this started with you guys to know that we're looking at this, okay, and to keep your eyes and ears open on that. But you're absolutely right about that, Sherry. That's a very strange. That's what makes this strange. Very strange. This next story, guys, is very sad and really crazy. That's why I'm bringing this to you guys. I want you guys to see and know about this if you don't already. And then, like I said, we'll go back. There, yes, that is business out that way, Licity, Byler Construction. But see, the thing is, that name, Byler, Licity, can belong to 50 other people, and they're not always directly related. Do you see what I'm saying? There's certain last names in the Amish community that are very regular names. So it's hard to say. Like the name Miller is very common. There's Millers all over the place. Byler, Miller, Elliot. There's a few other names too. They're very common last names, but they're not always directly related. You see what I mean? It's hard to follow that too. Alan Byler. Yeah, well, that was one of the ones that was in that TV show, right? They weren't really like that, though, Clue. There was a whole documentary about that show. It ended up being mostly wrong, like all scripted and acted. Yoder, that's another big one too. Martin, Miller, Yoder, Byler. There's a couple other names that are regular names. Yutzi, yes. Thank you, CR. That's a good. I wouldn't have thought of that one though. All right, guys, hold on to your chairs. This is a little bit, and I'm gonna go back afterwards and show you some other things along with this Amish scenario that fit into place with some of this to give you an idea of things that do go on. I'm gonna throw up a trigger warning for this. Lebanon Levi. Throwing up a trigger warning for this because some of this can be triggering. I'm just warning you, okay? Some of the things in this story are just wow. Very sad story, but I want it to be seen and heard so that it's out there. All right, here we go.
In August, Oklahoma City police got a tip that a man had multiple children with his stepdaughter. That report would unravel a family and shake an entire community. Thank you for joining us here. I'm Jessica Shambach.
I'm Evan Onstadt. Tonight we are hearing for the first time from the adult children on life behind those closed doors, as well as the hero who would turn him in. KOCO's Kylie Thomas has the exclusive story you'll only see on 5.
This cul-de-sac in southeastern Oklahoma City looks like any other. But inside this yellow house was a man with a secret. And one woman would unearth the truth.
It just took someone paying attention. And believe it or not, he was telling on himself every single day. No one listened.
A family of 11 lived here. Mom, dad, and 9 children, hidden away from the world.
They never left the house only with him.
The children had never been to school, the doctors, or even a movie theater, all to conceal a secret they never knew was wrong. their dad's relationship with their stepsister.
Did you know that the younger kids were your dad's kids too?
That I already knew about. I never knew that it was anything wrong with it.
We just grew up like if it was normal to us.
At 12 years old, their oldest sister had her first baby with their dad, according to court documents. She gave birth to 4 more inside this home. KOCO sat down with 3 of the siblings who wanted to share their story.
So when she had her first baby, you were just little.
Yeah, I think I was 7 or 8.
Did you ever question why you guys weren't allowed to leave the house more?
Not too much, because Dad always said that he didn't want us to get hurt, or because he protected us because of the people that are outside.
But that would all change.
I was looking for someone to paint the ceilings, and he answered the ad.
Doris Cole hired the father in 2017 as a contractor. She was opening several businesses at 10th and May.
They looked really crazy every day. The clothes, from the clothes that they wore, from the smell.
He started taking 2 of his teenage daughters to work, and Doris picked up on something she couldn't let go.
They couldn't read, they couldn't write.
He tried to homeschool us, and then it went from trying to not doing.
And the speech was really bad. When I first met her, I thought she had an accent.
She would question the family's homeschooling, the father's persistent phone alerts, and the van packed full of food and clothing. But there was nothing overtly wrong.
Every day it was driving me insane because there's nothing I could do about it. It was nothing I had to tell the cops.
Until she met the stepdaughter.
The first time I met her was in the hallway. And I said, man, that girl looked like she just had a child. She was young. And he was looking at her as if she was some sort of candy. I started putting stuff together. I said, okay, maybe those kids are hers and his.
The family became distant. Doris believes it was because she was asking too many questions. But they came back 2 years later looking for work.
Now this time I said, okay, I'm not letting this guy get away until I figure out what's going on.
And this time, the father told her the truth.
He said, well, this is not my daughter, just one of the kids. This is my lover, and that's my wife. I said, what?
After 7 years, Doris had the proof she needed.
I seen him kissing her, and I said, you know what, this is it. I called the police.
Detectives began interviewing the family. Worried he would take them and run, Doris let them stay in one of her homes as she worked with police, without the family knowing. And on September 21st, police surrounded the home, but Dad wasn't there.
They'd asked me if I knew where he was, and I said, well, he's at his other house. He said he was coming back. And so I called him, and I said, hey, you know, the police are at the house. He's like, did they see the kids?
What was the feeling inside of your house?
I was hurt because my dad took forever to come.
The adult kids were left alone with their secret siblings, waiting for their dad to face up to the crime.
I'm amazed, at the same time amazed and shocked that I'm looking at this entire family I've never seen before. I've seen bits and pieces, and the condition that the little ones were in. I never imagined.
Court documents reveal the kids had poor hygiene, foul odor, lack of dental care, and were sleeping on one heavily soiled mattress on the floor. Investigators say 2 of the children were nonverbal. After 3 hours, Dad finally showed up.
I stood there on the porch. I didn't get to see his face up front, but I saw him from the porch. That was one of the most satisfying days probably in my life, to watch him go get in the police car.
All right, take a seat for me.
Both mom and dad were arrested. The father's charged with 3 counts of sexual abuse of a child, 5 counts of child neglect, and 3 counts of child abuse. His wife is charged with multiple charges for enabling neglect and sexual abuse.
Both see her also as a victim. Do you see that too?
Now, yes.
You don't think she should be arrested?
No.
Court documents reveal a child told forensic investigators her dad had touched her privacy because he was a doctor.
I never thought that dad would touch us or say anything sexual to us, so I never worried about it.
How did you watch that? How did you hold your daughter's hand while she's having a baby by your husband?
I can't hate him because he is a strong boy. I could only forgive them. I could only forgive my dad. And I could leave the rest of it into God's hands.
Today, the adult kids still live in Doris's home and work for her. They're now enrolled in school.
I'm doing better at my reading. So I read a book yesterday.
Have their first IDs, are learning how to drive, and working to get their sister's children back to her from state custody.
You have a 26-year-old that can't read, can't write. How does she teach her kids that can't read or write how to write?
Now, looking back, do you feel grateful that Doris intervened?
Yes. Because she was helping us out.
It's just hard because I was the one that did it, but I'm also the one that's taking care of it.
Now, Doris hopes the community can wrap around this family and lift them up as they navigate life for the very first time.
So I'm hoping that that if there's anybody that wants to help, that is a genuine help. I mean, they've already been lied to and hurt their entire lives. So I'm hoping that their journey in this world and the people that run into them would remember that.
Reporting, Kylie Thomas, KOCO 5 News.
Unbelievable. And yes, the mother is guilty. And the sad thing is like what these other kids didn't understand was that the mother of these kids was also a sibling to these kids. Like, what? That's why these kids, and you can hear when they were interviewing the one girl, the speech impediment is because they weren't doing anything to help these kids at all. Okay. And yeah, God bless Doris. I would love to have a talk with Doris and an interview with her. This woman is a living angel, folks. This was one of the most insane things I've ever seen in my life. Let me see something here. 9 children hidden for years, guys. 1 second here. Trying to get the rest of it for you guys that I have. Give me 1 second, guys. One second. Sorry, you guys. I'm having some technical issues I'm trying to get through. That's one of the things that amazed me with this Doris woman. 2 years go by, and she was still worried about this. And as soon as they came back, she was on top of it like that. And thank God she was.
KC home court documents detail just some of the abuse a man inflicted on his children. Detectives say they found 5 children, all under the age of 18.
Care, Julia.
All
Thank
of them
you.
with, quote, poor hygiene, foul odor, and lack of dental care. According to court documents, 2 of the children were nonverbal and could not communicate. Other children told police that they were touched inappropriately.
We always thought something was going on in there.
We spoke with a neighbor reacting to the discovery.
It hurts me because I got to see the young ones. They never left the house only with him.
Court documents say a business owner who the suspect worked for contacted police back in August after she grew concerned the suspect would clean her business. She told police that he brought a woman who he identified as his stepdaughter to help, but the owner witnessed them, quote, hugging and kissing, so she called police. According to court documents, that tip led to the discovery at the home. The suspect admitted to investigators that the young children are all his and his stepdaughters. She would have just been 12 years old when she first gave birth. He also said, quote, the children had never been to the doctor and were all home birthed without a medical professional present.
Watch breaking news on YouTube. Subscribe to ABC7 Chicago.
They were all birthed without being in a hospital. Come on now. Come on. What is going on?
Eyewitness News.
Sorry, guys. Hold on a minute. Unbelievable. All right. I don't know what is going on with my computer tonight, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm getting there, though. There's so many of these stories out here, too, I've been finding. This is insane. Come on. Okay. Where is it? Damn it. And why won't it work for me? Okay. I'm just going to do this then. My apologies, guys. I don't know why this is going on tonight. Please, please be patient with me. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Wrong one. I guess that update was not. Hold on. was not a real working link. Sorry, guys, but I have other here. Sorry about that. Thank you, Zelda, very much. So, the children had never been to school, doctor's office, even a movie theater, all to conceal a secret that they never knew was wrong, their dad's relationship with their stepsister. Asked if they were the younger children or their dad's children too. Or Coco 5 asked if they knew that the younger children were their dad's children too. I already knew about, but I didn't know there was anything wrong with it. The 23-year-old who lived in the homestead. At 12 years old, the oldest sister had her first baby with the father, according to court documents. We just grew up like it was normal to us, the 33-year-old who lived in the homestead. The oldest sister gave birth to 4 more inside the home. All the birthing happened inside this home, you guys. This is insane. Yeah, I think it was 7 or 8, the 20-year-old who lived in the homestead. Coco 5 sat down with 3 of the siblings who wanted to share their story. We asked if they questioned why they weren't ever allowed to leave the house more. Dad always said that he didn't want us to get hurt or because he was protecting us from people outside, the 20-year-old said. Yes. Felicity, yes. That would all change. I was looking for someone to paint the ceilings, and he answered the ad. This is what Doris said. She hired the father in 2017 as a contractor. She was opening several businesses on 10th Street in May. They looked really crazy every day from the clothes they wore, the smell, Cole said. He started taking 2 of his teenage daughters to work, and Cole picked up something she couldn't let go of. They couldn't read, they couldn't write. The speech was really bad, as you guys heard. When I first met her, I thought she had an accent, and I did too, actually. It seemed that there was nothing he tried to homeschool us. He would question the family's homeschooling, the father's persistent phone alerts, and then the van packed full of food and clothing. He tried to homeschool us, and then it went from them trying to not go doing, Cole said. It seemed there was nothing overly wrong. Every day I was driving me insane because there was nothing I could do about it. It was nothing I could tell the cops, Cole said. And at some point, they were living in that damn van. All of them, okay? Before this. The family became distant because she was asking too many questions. They came back 2 years later looking for work, which, thank God, like I said. Now, where was the new part to this? She said when she saw him kissing her, she flipped and called the police, of course. Come on, guys. You told me there was a new link in here. Okay. The adult children were left alone with their secret siblings, waiting for their dad to face up to the crime. I am amazed and shocked that I'm looking at this entire family I have never seen before, Cole said. I have seen bits and pieces and the condition that the little kids were in, and I never imagined. Court documents revealed that the children had poor hygiene, foul odor, lack of dental care, and were sleeping on one heavily soiled mattress on the floor. And 2 of them were nonverbal. We've heard that. Wow. This is some sad, sick shit. Both mom and dad were arrested. The father was charged with 3 counts of sexual abuse, 5 counts of child neglect, and 3 counts of child abuse. His wife was charged with multiple counts of enabling neglect and sexual abuse. This guy introduced these people as, this is my wife, and then his stepdaughter, this is my lover. What the hell? What is going on in the mother's life and her brain that this was okay? You know what I mean? So now all of these adult children live in one of Doris's homes, and she takes care of and is teaching them. I agree, April. No, it's okay. We're covering both things, Tammy. So you're welcome to hang out. I'm going back to the Amish thing. I'm going back to talk about more different scenarios with the Amish scenario after I get through this here. I'm almost done with this too. Yeah, straight up textbook predator. I agree with that. The mother needs to be beat to death. I'm sorry. This is just insane. And this guy, it sounds like this guy kept these kids uneducated, away from the world, to keep his life the way he wanted it. I don't know, Clue. Probably because people would probably try to go after him. I'm sure he's in custody still, but that's what I said, Carolyn. Like the speech sounded like it was like a brain damage type scenario, I believe. But it could be the fact that it's, the cross gening type scenario. Very much on purpose. Yes, he kept them away from the world purposely to keep his lifestyle the way he wanted it. That's what I was going to say too, Virginia. And that's another good point, Tammy. I guess there isn't anything new in there. It said that they this is the my life after. I'm gonna see about getting a hold of Doris. That's just amazing, and God bless her for being who she was and doing that. Seriously. Um, that's the website to donate to help with that scenario if anybody wants to. It's called My Life After. Doris at My Life After OK.org is the website. Any ruler, when women are abused, have kids, date, care too much, can see away. We just try not to piss our abusers off. Yeah, I get that. I just wanted you guys to see this if you hadn't seen or heard this, because it's so horrific and so disgusting that there are people out there that exist. We know that do these things. It's so much, guys. It's so excuse my language, but it's a mess. So anyway, there's no updates on this as of yet. I'd like to know who their names and if they've been charged and convicted and all this other shit, but I can't find it anywhere. I've looked too, I promise you. So backing up to the sorry to jump all around, but I wanted to get that story in bad. You should see what this guy looks like too. He's a joke. Backing up to the Amish scenario. One second here. I'm gonna show you some other stories that I had found about things that have gone on in the Amish communities. 100%, April. That's a great point. Great point. This could have led to worse crimes to these people, 100%, because they have no education. They don't know any better. Okay? Like she said, we just thought it was normal. Right, Clue. I gotta watch which way I pull it up. Hold up here. This one was from 2 years ago. Okay. One second here. This is an update to an initial story too. I'm doing this to show you guys. It just happens so regularly, a lot more than people. People are like, "Oh, that's Amish people. It's never going to happen in that community." Yes, it is, and yes, it does. Hold on here.
A months-long investigation in Lancaster area is a step closer to being solved. Authorities there have announced the recovery of human remains. This comes after a search related to the disappearance of a young Amish woman in Pennsylvania last summer. 18-year-old Linda Stoltzfus was last seen walking home from church in the Bird in Hand area when she disappeared. 35-year-old Justo Smoker of Paradise is being charged with homicide and kidnapping. The county coroner's office was called to the scene and will make a formal identification and determine the cause and manner of death.
But first up, tonight's big.
And see, that shows these are people from outside the community that these things are going along with. I've heard stories from health workers I will not mention in chat, but in the Amish communities we are close to. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's some crazy things, guys. Welcome, Michelle. I'm sorry. I thought I had put it out there for everybody to know about it. I'm sorry, Michelle. Well, welcome. It's glad that you're here. I'm glad you're here. Right. This is true, Tammy. That's why I'm bringing this out and showing you guys. A lot of things go on. Wow, Annie, that's crazy. Sorry, guys. Let me back this up. This goes along with the one I just showed you guys. 1 second. Again, I'm leaving the trigger warning up for a reason, so.
This podcast explores graphic and disturbing stories and includes some
jury selection on August the 9th. The judge did delay the actual start of the trial to later on in August, but jury selection will start August the 9th. So many of my clients and many of their family members are eagerly awaiting their day in court where they can make their formal allegations in front of a jury. And then Mr. Kelly can defend himself, and then we can get to the bottom of what actually happened and get justice in these cases. So we're excited. It's been a long time coming to get to this point, and we're hopeful of the case that will be presented against Mr. Kelly.
All right. Thank you, Gerald. And of course, we hope that you will continue to keep us updated here and you'll come back as the trials continue, because there are a lot of people interested in what's going on in this case.
Yes, I will.
All right. So, Gerald, these are the cases that we're looking at this week. One of them is happening in your backyard. So, in connection with the killing of an 18-year-old Amish teenager. Her name is Linda Stoltzfus. This is a horrible, horrible case. And what came out of this, Gerald, is that witnesses had told police, because, she had been missing for some time, and they actually had to negotiate, authorities had to negotiate with this man to find out where her body was buried, which is, when we get into the details of it, Gerald, we've had some cases where some families have absolutely refused to negotiate with the killer or alleged killer.
Yes, and this is a very disturbing case. I mean, anytime that you have to negotiate to get information.
Hold on, you guys. They're not showing what they. Just a minute. I'm sorry. I'm starting to get irritated now. Sorry. Why? Okay. Here's the other news drop from that other one. I'm sorry. This is just a real quick. It explains. Sorry, I'm so disorganized, you guys.
Linda Stoltzfus disappeared in Lancaster County. A major development in the case. Police say they have found human remains related to the search.
I can picture her calling for her, her mom or her dad, and that could have been my daughter just as easy.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Evan Forrester, a family member of Linda Stoltzfus, telling us that police have found her remains, although officials have not confirmed that tonight and say it could be days before we know for sure. But here's what we do know at this hour. Police say they have found human remains while continuing their search for Linda Stoltzfus. Stoltzfus is the 18-year-old Amish girl who disappeared in Lancaster County 10 months ago today. Her uncle, Mervyn Fisher, told us that it is her body that investigators discovered. However, the Lancaster County coroner says they cannot confirm the identity of the remains yet. The past hour, we've also confirmed that those remains were found near the place where the suspect in the case, the man you just saw on your screen, Gusto Smoker, worked. Our Fox 43 team coverage begins with Grace Griffithson, who's been covering the case since the beginning. And Grace, you spoke with the coroner tonight. Do you have more details on what you found out?
Yeah, good evening, Evan. Within the past hour, we were able to confirm that members of the Pennsylvania State Police, the FBI, East Lampeter Township Police, and the Lancaster County Coroner's Office discovered human remains here in Gap near Dutchland Incorporated. Now, those remains have been taken to the Lancaster County Coroner's Office, where preliminary studies are underway. However, a forensic evaluation will have to be done before the Lancaster County coroner can confirm if the remains are indeed Linda Stoltzfus's. Now, a family member has said those remains are Linda Stoltzfus's, but again, the Lancaster County coroner, without a doubt, cannot say they are until that forensic evaluation is completed. Multiple members of the Amish community on foot and in buggies traveled to Linda Stoltzfus's house in Bird in Hand. Fire police on Beachdale Road nearby asking people to give the family privacy.
We see these girls and boys out every single day. They're friendly. We talk to them. Most of our neighbors are Amish, and it's a great community. And we felt that we wanted to make sure that justice is served, and I hope it is.
The Stoltzfus's English neighbors say they have been very invested in the investigation, which stems back to last Father's Day, when Linda never returned home from church.
Just because it's our community, we only live, like I said, a few miles from where she is, where she lived. We felt like it was almost like, one of our relatives.
The man accused of her killing is Gusto Smoker of Paradise Township. He lived at this apartment complex off Lincoln Highway. Law enforcement charged him with the murder back in December after they say they had compelling DNA evidence linking him to the crime. They say they discovered Smoker's DNA on Linda's stockings. Police say photos and video surveillance taken from the area in which Linda was last seen link Smoker's red Kia Rio to the crime. Authorities are expected to release more information Thursday morning.
We'll be watching, and we'll be keeping track, and we'll be praying for the family.
Again, this is the area in which human remains were found. Now, a full autopsy on the body will start on Friday. The coroner says it could take days or weeks to complete it. It all depends on the condition of the body. A couple things can actually affect it. That's temperature and moisture. They will rely on DNA if they cannot get an ID with identifying marks. In Gap, Lancaster County, Grace Griffithson, Fox 43 News.
So I see a question there. Rumspringa is it's when the Amish community has the ability, they're younger ones, okay, like the teenagers, they're allowed to separate themselves from the Amish customs for a period of time to see what it's like to live outside the Amish customs. As a Yankee per se, like what we are, okay? I think it's when they're 16. I think it's 16 for both male and female. And I've seen it happen. I've been in bars when I used to drink, and where I live at, I'm surrounded by Amish, okay? And we were in a bar, me and my buddies one night, and it was Rumspringa. They come in, and the girls go in the bathroom, come out dressed like they lived in our area. Excuse me. So they're allowed to go experience certain customs that we do and see what they choose to do. Now, if they decide that that's what they would rather do and they leave, they can't go back. They're completely cut off from their families. They're completely cut off from the Amish custom, all of it. They cannot ever go back. I went to school with some that were like that. They went through that and they never went back. So that's how it works. They're completely cut off and shunned from the entire community, and they're not to speak to any of them. If anybody's caught speaking to them or they're caught speaking to anybody, those people get in trouble through the elders and all that. It's really an interesting scenario. Kind of crazy, but it's true. Excuse me. But that's what happens, and that's sometimes how some of these bad things happen in these communities because of that. I'm surrounded. The area I live in is surrounded by Amish all around. Ohio and PA have a lot, and I'm very close to the PA side of things too. So, okay. Now this scenario is from 3 years ago. This is a Mennonite woman. Now Mennonite is Amish, but a little bit more relaxed. They're allowed to use electricity. A lot of them drive. It is more than a day. I think it's a week that they have, Clue. I think. I'll have to look it up, but I think it's a week they're allowed to do this. 3 days or a week or something, but or 5. Maybe it's something like that. I can't remember. The thing is like around here, I've seen, even when I know it's not Romspringa, that they go out and do things they're not supposed to do. Okay, they do it a lot. They have their own parties in their own communities and stuff like that. You know, a lot of things that everybody saw on that Amish Mafia and stuff, that wasn't real. A lot of that stuff was scripted stuff, and they were the Amish community in Lancaster was very, very pissed off about that show. They did not want those cameras, none of that stuff around there. I watched the whole documentary on that thing because I used to love that show. And I was just like, how are they allowing this to happen? And so on and so forth. And it's not what you think. Levi, the guy that played Levi, was 100% Mennonite, and a bunch of those other people were, and so on and so forth. So, but this story here is about a Mennonite, okay? And like I said, the Mennonites, they dress a little different. They're allowed to use electricity. They have phones. They drive, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. They do have amazing stores, baked goods, foods, everything. They're amazing people. They're everything they put together. And like I said, I'm just showing you some different instances where these things do happen to go along with the original story. 100%, Zelda, 100%.
Clues until now. With very few clues until now. It stretches from a small Mennonite community in New Mexico to a popular tourist spot in northern Arizona, and the eventual arrest of an accused killer, an airman from Luke Air Force Base. Team 12's William Pitts is uncovering new information in the investigation in a story you'll only see from the night team. Will?
Guys, there was some sort of bad blood between that murder suspect, Mark Gooch, his 2 brothers, and the Mennonite community they once had ties to. And according to these police documents, they took that grudge to a whole new level. 27-year-old Sasha Kraus was found dumped behind a bush near Sunset Crater.
And that's how he found her, or we didn't move her, nothing?
She was face down, shot to death, with a hood placed over her head, an ankle-length dress, hair in a bun, the clothing of a Mennonite woman, which she was.
There's almost some drag marks over there.
Yeah. Kraus had been missing from Farmington, New Mexico for a month. Police video shows a horrified woman who found Kraus's body while collecting firewood.
I'm going to go down to Sedona after this and see my friend.
Okay.
Because I don't want to be alone.
Investigators traced Kraus's location through her cell phone, looking for connections. The only other phone to be in the same area as Kraus belonged to 21-year-old Mark Gooch, an airman stationed at Luke Air Force Base. When they pulled his phone records, detectives found text messages about surveilling the Mennonite community, calling them a bunch of old people without much to live for, and a text message from Gooch's sister, "Happy birthday, Mark." When they traced where Gooch's phone had been, they found it heading from Phoenix to Farmington. Then his signal stopped at Sunset Crater for 3 hours. When detectives interviewed Mark Gooch, he would only tell them that he and his brothers used to be members of the Mennonite faith. He wouldn't say why they left. But in text messages, he and his brother joked about pulling over Mennonites, coughing on them to give them corona, and calling them cultists. When confronted, police reports show Mark Gooch said, "It sounds like I need a lawyer." From there, the investigation went fast. A man near Luke Air Force Base called police, telling them Gooch had asked him to store a .22 caliber rifle. Gooch's other brother, Sam, would only tell police that Gooch held a grudge toward the Mennonite community. As for a true motive, Sam said he didn't know. Only Mark knew. Gooch's brother, Sam Gooch, was later arrested. Police reports say he tried to get the man who was storing that rifle to destroy it. Instead, police set up a sting, and he allegedly admitted he knew Mark Gooch had murdered someone. William Pitts, 12 News.
So there's that one, and here we are. This other story. Oh yeah, here we go. Now this one is another one. I don't think it's related to that one. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in the Amish community, you guys. I was very surprised. Even stuff that I wouldn't think, a lot more, I should say.
Beechdale Road is a place not just of tragedy. Beechdale Road is a place of redemption. Beechdale Road is a place not just of tragedy. Beechdale Road is a place of redemption. It's a road where mercy was more powerful than murder.
On a sunny Sunday in June of 2020, 18-year-old Linda Stoltzfus disappeared while walking home.
I remember hearing about this girl who was missing and thinking, you got to be kidding me. Like, this doesn't happen around here.
Tim Rogers recalls wondering who could possibly do something like this. His own daughter, Megan, is the same age as Linda, and he watched as search.
Okay, this is that story that was related to that I couldn't find earlier, related to the one with the guy that's got the weird name, whatever his name was. This is another part to that. Sorry, guys.
Search team spent days looking for the missing girl. They even checked out the wooded area behind Tim's home. Police were stumped until they found surveillance video of a car belonging to Justo Smoker in the area on the same day she went missing.
Complete disbelief, complete shock.
Justo is Tim's brother-in-law. He was a special part of a tight-knit, faith-filled family.
To me, he was a fun, kind uncle, the uncle that was involved in your life, was excited about the things you were doing.
He was athletic, compassionate, understanding, seemed very well adjusted for all that he had gone through.
Justo had gone through a lot. He and his siblings were living on the streets of Costa Rica before they were adopted by Tim's wife's family as children. In his 20s, Justo started to struggle with anger.
He did. I wish it was simple enough where I could say this is the one thing that happened.
He ended up spending time in prison for robbery. Still, the family never imagined that 3 weeks after Linda went missing, police would charge Justo with her kidnapping and eventually her murder.
This isn't Justo. Like, he wouldn't do this.
It was a time when a man that I trusted did something that I would have never expected. Thought about.
Family didn't know what to do. Then a young Amish neighbor knocked on their door.
She shared her name and she said, you may not know this, but I was the teacher at Nickel Mines School. She came with a deep level of understanding, of empathy, of love, of mercy, of compassion.
The visit was the first of many with the Amish community, including Linda's family and her close friends. Tim and his family had expected them to be upset and angry. Instead, they offered kindness, mercy, and forgiveness.
That's grace. That's true, unmerited grace. And it's really uncomfortable and really hard.
To receive it was so healing and so difficult and so beautiful all at the same time.
The family began to write down their experiences.
Every day that something significant would happen, I would write down the date and then kind of my thoughts, or just journal how I was processing it at the time.
Their notes eventually became a book, Beechdale Road, Where Mercy is More Powerful Than Murder. They say they knew they'd been given a gift of grace so powerful, they had to pass it on.
When you've experienced something like that, it's like, man, you have to share it. You have to.
So these people right here are the family of that Justo Smoke guy that murdered this Amish woman. And the Amish community came to them and offered love and kindness to them after their relative murdered their relative. That's crazy. Where do you see shit like that happen? You know what I mean? That's insane to me.
Even if it's hard, even if it's vulnerable, even if it's scary.
My hope is that people can see and feel and experience that redemption is always more powerful than tragedy.
Ann Shannon, WGAL, News 8.
It is, Virginia. It's definitely like not something that you see happen ever. It's a good thing, but 1 second, guys. Okay. I can't find the one story that I wanted to show you guys to go along with this. I don't know what happened when I downloaded it. It disappeared. So sorry, guys. Hold on. Is this the one? No, this isn't it. I think it is. Derp, 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 derp. Sorry about tonight, guys. I have so many issues going on. Oh yeah, this is the one big deal that happened around the area that I lived in, not far from. Little heads up on this. This is from 11 years ago. This is the first time I had ever seen any kind of Amish crime. Here we go.
In the Amish community outside the eastern Ohio town of Bear Colts, life seems to follow familiar patterns. The children play in front of the school at recess, and inside the farm's main house, the women gather for a regular meeting. But an air of worry is palpable as a day of reckoning approaches for 16 community members who may face long prison sentences. Wilma Mullet, who was not charged, says she is seeking refuge in her faith.
It's in my mind every day to pray for a miracle that my dad won't get life in prison and the men won't get such a hard sentence.
In September, Sam Mullet, leader of the isolated Bear Colts settlement, was convicted along with his followers on felony charges including conspiracy and hate crimes. In late 2011, the 10 men and 6 women forcibly cut the beards and hair of outside Amish, who they saw as critics and who they thought needed to be taught a lesson. The Amish have no tradition of cutting beards and hair as a punishment or a means of atonement. The Bear Colts Amish say they started the practice among themselves. In 2010, Wilma Mullet and a friend cut her brother's beard and that of 6 other men on the farm, who they accused of mistreating their families and having impure thoughts.
Now they look like a young boy again, and it gives them a fresh start. They're going to start over. They're going to start a new life.
But later, Bear Colts residents...
A lot of people don't understand that a beard on a male Amishman is their whole world. If you cut their beard, it's basically, I don't even know how to explain it, guys. It's a big thing. It's a big deal. Okay. You don't do that. If they were to shave their beards off, it's like taking their life away from them in a sense, and they're completely looked upon in a bad way, bad way. So this Sam Mullet guy and his little crew. I bet he does, Clue. Thank you, Felicity. His little cult that he started were going around the Amish communities cutting people's beards off. Okay. And they were left to be like, what do I do now? Because the Amish community in normal sense would shun them and look down upon them. Excuse me. That's what they were trying to do. So
attacked people from outside Amish communities, shearing the beards and long hair that are central to Amish identity. The 5 assaults spread terror among the Amish of Eastern Ohio.
We made a mistake.
We're not saying that we didn't do anything wrong. We made a mistake.
During the trial, prosecutors also presented evidence that Sam Mullet engaged in intimate sexual, quote, counseling with female followers. Mullet has denied the charges. His wife, Martha Mullet, says that long prison sentences seem unfair, considering that none of the victims suffered lasting harm.
Their hair will grow back. Their beards will grow back. They can go on with their lives, but they want to tear our lives apart.
The community has become closer since the men were sent to jail, says Martha Mullet, and they are preparing in advance for bad news.
We could pull together and all help each other. We have made plans what we want to do with the children of the parents that will both be in jail.
Wilma Mullet says the community will remain faithful to Sam, her father.
No matter if he gets life in prison, he's still going to be our bishop here. He's going to help us with everything. If my mind goes that they will get like maybe 15 or 17 years, and then my mind can't think anymore. I can't think that far. It hurts too much.
The convicted men and women are scheduled to be sentenced on February 8th. This is Eric Ekholm of the New York Times.
There's a lot worse things that have happened, but I'm just, like I said, I was just trying to show you guys some other crimes that have gone on in the Amish communities. I don't think there's any new updates on him. Is this the one at the... Hold on here. This might be the one that explains him. No. Okay, hold on. Good Lord. Sorry, guys. Oh, by the way, for those of you that didn't know, that Creech gentleman was supposed to be executed in Idaho. It didn't happen. It failed. They tried to run a line, an IV line, and they couldn't get the line, so it didn't happen. For anybody that knew that was going on. Where is it? Let's see here. I guess I don't. That one thing is gone. Welcome back, Cassie. Okay. Anybody have anything to add? To any of this? Yeah, Cassie, the one was. There's one specific story I'm trying to find, and I thought I had it, but I guess not the right thing. Hold on a minute here. I think I might have found it. Yeah, hey. You guys are awesome for having so many patience with me. There was another Amish woman, she went by the name of Barbara Weaver, that was murdered in a fashion along the lines like that. Hey, right, Deborah. That's true. Hold on, guys. Let's see if this is it. Okay, here we go. This is that one story I thought I had to find a different version of it because it wouldn't allow me to play it for copyright versions. But here we go. This is about Ed Gingrich.
And not being able to live life in mental illness, and a disdain for growing up Amish and not being able to live life on your own terms. I first learned about Ed Gingrich on an investigation discovery series called Daily Devotion, and I was hooked from that day. I had to learn everything that I possibly could find about this man. Ed Gingrich is considered the original Amish murderer because for 30 years he was the only one. It was very shocking to me to learn that an Amish man actually committed murder, but it does not compare to the way in which he killed her. Now, those grisly details are coming up shortly, but first we have to talk about how we got here. To the Amish, it's very important to be humble. They believe in family and community as well as being separate from the non-Amish world. According to discoverlancaster.com, the Pennsylvania Amish believe that harmony in the community is threatened by secular values such as individualism and pride, which permeate the modern world. Ed wasn't allowed to be an individual, which is something that we non-Amish take for granted. Their buggies are even a dark gray color so that they blend into their surroundings rather than stand out. Some of the Amish will even have a few or all of their teeth removed to avoid the cost of even going to the dentist because that is considered vanity and it's financially impractical. They prefer to have the tooth removed over having it fixed, so to speak, and many of them will have all of their teeth removed and wear dentures. Rebecca from the show Breaking Amish said that her parents had all of her teeth removed, even though dentists in the community did not even have formal training. Now, let's get back to Ed. Ed wasn't a follower, and he didn't like going to church. He was seen as a misfit. He met his future wife, Katie Shetler, in 1985, and she was the daughter of a respected elder, and they soon began spending time together. Katie's uncle was also the town bishop, which was compared to the godfather in a mafia family. He was a very important person in that community. Even though Ed wasn't the type of husband that they would normally pick for Katie, he was still pressured from both families to marry Katie. So on December 2nd, 1986, they were married. Katie really loved Ed, and he liked spending time with her, but he was very reluctant to get married to her. After they got married, they lived in her parents' basement until their new home was built. And on September 20th, 1987, Katie gave birth to their first child, a son named Danny. Ed began to spend more time alone and he would ignore his wife and his children. And Katie ended up becoming a nag because she wanted him to talk to her and spend time with them. But he was not interested in that. And Ed would eventually start to hit her. Old order Amish groups do not take part in modern technology, so unfortunately for Ed, his interest was science and technology. He was great at fixing anything with a motor and he could build engines from scratch. Ed told his neighbor, Richard Zimmer, that he didn't like the Amish ways and he wanted to leave. Ed did eventually get to build a modern sawmill with a machine shop near his house after the original shop burned down. And through his time at the shop, he got to interact with a lot of the local English people. And that caused problems with the local Amish bishop. Ed had an English neighbor that he would visit, and he told Ed that if he did not renounce his Amish faith and become a born-again Christian, that he would go to hell. And because Ed had a mental illness, this affected him in a horrible way. A year before Katie was killed, Ed complained about being disoriented. Hours before the murder, Ed visited the nearby chiropractor, and the chiropractor gave Ed some blackstrap molasses to take home with him, which was supposed to help purify the blood. Sent him home. His bill was $25. Molasses was seen as a cure for almost everything with that particular chiropractor, and by this time, Ed was in serious need of help. They eventually took Ed to see a special Amish healer, and his name was Jacob Troyer. And he told Katie, Ed's wife, that your husband has a mental problem. Take him to a hospital. I'm afraid of suicide. Goodbye and good luck. Later, his wife Katie was going to a wedding, but she didn't want Ed to come because she was afraid that he would do something to embarrass her. And this is what they think really put him over the edge. So later that day, their children were playing on the floor in the kitchen, and then Ed just punched Katie in the face. So Katie told their son Danny to run and get his uncle Dan, which is Ed's brother. And Danny had to run a mile to reach his uncle because they didn't have a phone that he could use to call for help. The other two children were still there. Once Danny got to his uncle's house, he told him Daddy wasn't well, and so Uncle Dan just took off to go check on his brother. When Danny and Ed's brother reached the house, they found Katie's naked body on the floor in the kitchen. Now it's going to get very graphic, so if you have a weak stomach, you'll want to leave now. Okay, on March 18th, 1993, on Frisbeetown Road in Rockdale Township in Crawford County, Pennsylvania, 911 received a call about a disturbed.
Now, mind you, this is the exact same. That's why I'm showing you this one. This is the exact same area that the recent murder that I just brought to you. This is the exact same area this happened in. That's why I wanted you guys to see this case. I couldn't find it earlier, so.
Male. 28-year-old lumber mill operator Edward Gingrich had killed his wife Katie Gingrich. Two of their three children saw everything. When the police arrived, Ed was looking wild-eyed.
Did you hear what she just said? Two of their three children saw everything. This is why I wanted you guys to see this so bad. This is so much like this newer murder. This is so weird to me.
He had blood in his beard, blood on his hands, blood in his clothes, his blood everywhere, and he was incoherent. He was mumbling biblical passages, and he was mentioning the devil. Now, this is what author Jim Fisher said about the crime scene, and he wrote a book about this case. In the kitchen of their Western Pennsylvania farmhouse, he knocked her down, crushed her skull by stomping on her face repeatedly, ripped off her clothing, and then opened up her belly with a kitchen knife. He started cutting from the base of her skull all the way down her abdomen. Through the gaping 7-inch gash, he removed her heart, her lungs, her spleen, her liver, her kidneys, her ovaries, and her intestine. And he stacked these in a neat pile beside her corpse and stuck the knife all the way through those until it reached the floor. So when the ambulance and the police arrived about an hour later, they saw Ed walking up the road with his children. He was.
And this is also why I wanted to know what the manner of death and mode of death was in a bad way, because of knowing how this story went down. I was curious as hell. This is insane, okay? But a lot of the things match up to what the recent murder was, and I was wondering if there's somebody that's doing, hey, Lily, if it was a copycat scenario, if it was somebody that was doing, because, you know what I mean? So this explains why I want you to see this again. Sorry.
Was arrested by the Pennsylvania State Police at a dirt road intersection near his house. Ed told the police that he had beat his wife to death, and he said, "I'm the bad guy. My father will understand." When the ambulance arrived at the crime scene, one of the EMTs was so disturbed by what she saw that she had to run out of the house because she got sick to her stomach. And after the killing, Ed's brother said that he saw the literal devil standing beside Ed in the kitchen. Author Jim Fisher also said that the beating was so bad that investigators couldn't identify Katie visually. She didn't look human. Half of her skull was missing, and some of her brain was coming out. And one of the troopers told Ed when they got to the police station to take off his boots and his coat. And when he did, a big piece of flesh fell down. In recordings of the police investigation that they did with Ed, he can be heard saying that for some reason, I think we could still save her.
I think we can still save her. No, we cannot. I have seen Katie, and we cannot save her.
So Ed was finally diagnosed as a paranoid schizophrenic when he was in jail. The community could only pray because they see the court system as English, and so it's foreign to them. And Ed's father, Daniel, he said that whatever they decide, he just wanted to get the trial over with. And in 1994, Ed was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter but mentally ill. He served 5 years in the prison ward of a mental hospital. About 60 members of the Brown Hill Amish community signed a petition asking that Ed be permanently committed. They said, "We like Ed, but absolutely don't trust him and are seriously afraid of him." When Ed got out of prison, his sons were able to sneak and see him, but he really wanted to see his 17-year-old daughter, Mary. In 2007, Ed took her from a buggy and disappeared with her for about 5 days. And everybody was panicking and worried that he would kill her just like he did her mother. But thankfully, she was found safe after 5 days. She was with him and some other relatives. Because of this, he was sentenced to 6 months probation. And there was another lawyer that represented Ed, and he let him stay with his family because Ed literally did not have anywhere else that he could go. And Ed would help them out on the farm. Ed stayed there on and off for about 6 months, and some days he was extremely depressed. One morning, Ed went to feed the horses, and when he didn't come back after a while, George's wife, Stephanie, discovered Ed's body in their barn. George was the name of the lawyer. Ed had hung himself. There was a message written in dust on the top of a bucket of treats that they have for the horses. It read, "Forgive me, please." It was January 14th. He was 44 years old. He was buried in the Amish cemetery beside his wife, Katie, and in death, he was finally able to come back home. Reports vary about exactly what happened in their home just before Katie was killed, but the basics remain undisputed.
That is correct. Yep. So that was the story about Ed Gingrich. And like I said, guys, back then, the story that I read about this initially, I read this story a long time ago. The Amish community claimed that he was possessed by the devil because his brother claimed, I don't know if you heard that when he walked in, he and saw Ed, what Ed had done, and saw Ed, he swear he saw the devil standing side by side with him. I'm not going to get into all that because, that's up to whoever believes in what. So, but there are historical statistics that have been played out based on customs of the Amish. It's of things that have happened in certain circumstances where these guys seem to have been possessed by something. They flip out. Thank you, publicity. And it's a sad scenario. And it was so weird after I saw, which is why I shared the initial murder of Rebecca Byler today, about this Ed Gingrich story. It was so weird to me because it was so much alike. And I really want to know what the manner of death was to make it. If it matches up with this, it's freaking weird to me. I'm sorry. So I agree, Toodles. They should have kept them locked up, obviously. Very weird. Very strange story. Like I said, guys, I'm so sorry I was so unorganized tonight. I had one part of that Gingrich story that I had downloaded. I went to use it, and I realized I couldn't use it. So that's what I was looking for. My apologies for the delays and all that. Where are we at here? One of the things I told you guys I was going to show you about a missing teenager out of Tennessee. 1 second here. Clue did this earlier. I'm just putting it out there to keep it going. And the reason why is because he's autistic, you guys. So that's sorry. All right, hold on here. Here we go. And this is pretty near where, not right near, but pretty close to where Clue and Cletus are at. So in around that area, they could get there in a very quick period of time, as compared to somebody else that's not close. So.
We continue to track breaking news out of Sumner County tonight. Here on your screen is a picture of 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers. The teenager is autistic and disappeared yesterday morning. Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller joining us live in Hendersonville, where crews are searching tirelessly for Sebastian. What's the latest here, Caitlin?
Yes, well, today hundreds of people are working hard to bring Sebastian Rogers home safely to his family. The director of Sumner County Emergency Management says they are working harder than ever to do so. Now, the director, Ken Weiner, says that this 15-year-old boy was last seen in Hendersonville wearing glasses, black sweatpants, and a black sweatshirt. TBI says they issued an Amber Alert because of health and safety concerns. Weiner says he should be close to his home, but adds they've had to keep expanding their search because of no luck finding him, and says that they haven't received many tips.
Work any leads that we get, but we unfortunately we haven't had a lot of leads.
Thank you, Zelda.
We keep expecting someone to pull up with him, hoping that they see him.
And thank you for anybody that's donated to these
so
links.
We're just going to keep grinding it out.
God bless. I appreciate so very much.
Keep getting additional resources in here and keep the search ongoing.
He should be within 0.3 of a mile of his home. Now, Weiner says they really need the public's help on this search. So if you live in this area in Sumner County, to please keep a lookout on your property. And if you do see him, to call 911 immediately. Reporting live from Sumner County, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Sebastian Rogers is now on day 3. Peyton Kennedy is live at the command post now in Hendersonville with a closer look at what's been going on this morning. Peyton.
Yeah, Nicole, day 3 is underway here. We'll give you a look at the command post activity happening right now this morning. And of course, you can understand emotions are running high as it was pouring down rain here this morning, and the temperature has dropped significantly. We want to show you this map as well that details the pathway hundreds of law enforcement members have taken, scouring the area for a sign of Sebastian. They've used helicopters, drones. This morning I saw crews leave on ATVs. Plus there's been horses from Hendersonville Police with more from the Metro. are running high as it was pouring down rain here this
Oh,
morning.
that's better,
The
Andy.
temperature has dropped significantly. We want to show you this map as well that details the pathway hundreds of law enforcement members have taken, scouring the area for a sign of Sebastian. They've used helicopters, drones. This morning I saw crews leave on ATVs. Plus there's been horses from Hendersonville Police, with more from the Metro PD reportedly on the way. Sebastian is 15 years old, has autism. He's 5'5", 120 pounds. He was reported missing Monday morning, last seen in a black sweatsuit. Now we're seeing a number of community organizations reaching out to help law enforcement agencies, including Live Love Nashville, Sumner County Fire Buffs, and Long Hollow Church, who have been feeding folks here at the command post. We actually just saw a couple trucks come up with some food deliveries as well. Now, Long Hollow Church held a prayer vigil last night and have offered their campus, which is just down the street from here, as a second command post if needed.
There's some things that we can't do. We're not trained to be on the front lines of that search, but what we can do well is to love those who are. And so that was kind of one of our first steps forward, was just to come alongside first responders. Many of them, you know, they're a part of our community and we care about that. So, you know, one thing we can do is put some warm food in them and just come alongside and be a support.
They've also turned over their surveillance footage to the police department in case anything was caught on those cameras. You are also encouraged to check your home's security cameras, turn that over to police if you see anything. And of course, if you know anything, give the sheriff a call or call the TBI. Live in Hendersonville, Peyton Kennedy, News 2.
All right, this is from 3 hours ago.
News 2 breaking news alert.
Breaking right now, people are gathering for a vigil for a missing teenager. No one has seen 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers in days. A massive days-long search has uncovered more questions than answers. Welcome to News 2 at 6. I'm Haley Wilgus.
And I'm Bob Mueller. We have just confirmed the sheriff's office has called the FBI to help with this search, but agents aren't on the ground yet. Sebastian Rogers disappeared just after midnight Monday. In the days since, crews have scoured parts of Hendersonville, but still there's no sign of Sebastian.
News 2's Caitlin Quisenberry is live in that search area, and Caitlin, crews are searching by foot, by air, even on horse.
Haley, I just spoke with the emergency management agency, the director of that agency. He says they have expanded the perimeter and he appreciates the people driving around and looking for Sebastian. He says he also appreciates those same people checking their property and looking at any possible hiding spots and checking that home surveillance video as well for any sighting of the teen. The director of EMA also says today the focus remains as an effort to survey the landscape via drone, all-terrain vehicles, and helicopter. A call for extra mounted patrol was answered by several agencies, including TWRA, Dixon County, and Metro. Of course, the major concern, the EMA director says, has been the below freezing temperatures expected tonight. If you do want to help, nonprofit Sumner County Fire Buffs needs extra hands helping to serve response teams hot food. And one Hendersonville resident is working with emergency crews from the Premier Center on Volunteer Drive to bring in much needed snacks and beverages to have on hand when crews are out searching. He tells me he knows Hendersonville residents want to help just as much as he does.
It's home. You know, anything can happen anywhere at any time. You would hope to think that it wouldn't, but it does. And so, you know, it's in our backyard that this little boy needs us. And so this is a time that all the prayers and everything are needed. And the first responders need the help to keep their energy up, to keep the search up, because that's 24 hours a day. We're going home and going to bed. They're not.
To reiterate, be on the lookout for Sebastian Rogers. He is 15 years old with autism. Sebastian was last seen at his home on Stafford Court around midnight Sunday, wearing a black sweatshirt and sweatpants, possibly barefoot. He has been off his medications since going missing. Officials say if you do see Sebastian, you are asked to call TBI or Sumner County Sheriff's Office. That number is linked on our website, WKRN.com. You can also visit our website for any updates on this story. Live in Sumner County, Caitlin Quisenberry, News 2.
I'm guessing that this kid went missing. It says he went missing from his home shortly after midnight, which is weird to me. I wonder if it sounds like somebody may have snatched him. If he was barefoot, possibly, and in a black sweatsuit. I can almost agree with Deborah that he was taken. But he's not been on his medication, so he could be acting pretty out there right now. Which scares me, because if somebody did take him, they're not going to put up with that. And it scares me. That scares me a lot. This is sad. I think we have another one here. Let me see. If you guys are anywhere in this area, please just keep your ears open. Or just, even if not, still.
Now, News 2 at 5.
Thank you, Mark, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to News 2 at 5. I'm Bob Mueller.
And I'm Haley Wilgus. 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers has been missing in Sumner County for 3 days now. And we have been following that story very closely. The TBI upgraded his case to an Amber Alert last night, meaning agents think he is in imminent danger. Agencies from all over the state have come out to assist.
This is Caitlin Quisenberry.
Yeah, this is weird to me, because especially being barefoot, like he ran away from something. Does that sound right? Does it sound like something's different here? Like if the kid was barefoot, like he was afraid of something and just took off? Does that sound right, Clue? This one's strange. It literally is different, especially with the kid being autistic. You wouldn't think that he would want to take off from his comfort spot on purpose. That's what I thought. He's barefoot and he's autistic, which again would make me feel that like he took off or was taken. And he took off because he was afraid of something, or he was taken. Again, I can't see an autistic kid leaving his comfort zone, fully autistic, especially with no shoes or socks on. All his shoes were at home. Something's off with this.
Barry joins us live from the search headquarters at the Shackle.
Yeah, why would he? After midnight, he should be in bed, you would think, on a Monday night, especially a school night. So what's going on with that part of it? Something happened. Something happened for whatever reason.
Island Volunteer Fire Department. Caitlin, this is a massive search effort.
Absolutely. So far today, authorities have put out a call for more police mounted patrols as possible, and Hendersonville Police and Wilson County Sheriff's Office have responded to that call, bringing in extra horses and people for that. And also out in the field here today have been drones, helicopters, and all-terrain vehicles. Sebastian Rogers is 15 years old with autism. He was last seen at his home on Stafford Court around midnight Sunday, wearing a black sweatshirt and sweatpants, possibly barefoot. Two of the many concerns officials are facing now is Sebastian has been off of his medication since going missing, and the temperatures are expected to continue to drop below freezing as the night goes on. I will say I've spoken to a couple residents out here who really just want to help in the search. Officials say if you do want to help search your property and your home surveillance video for any sighting of Sebastian, you can also donate packaged snacks and beverages to emergency crews working around the clock to locate Sebastian.
To go out in the woods and the trees and that to search, so they just need snacks, things they can put in their backpacks and take. So the need became the water, Gatorade, and snacks. So I decided after a conversation with them, it's always better to get the community away from the command center so they can do their job. But this community is so helpful and want to be involved that they just want to come, and hopefully they can help. But we just decided to open here to kind of give the community a place that they can bring things.
If you are able to bring snacks or drinks, drop them off at the Premier Center on Volunteer Drive. It's open until 6 and will reopen tomorrow morning at 8. If you aren't able to make those hours, he says you can leave the donations under the awning. And as the night continues, there will be a community prayer vigil held at Northfield Church in Gallatin at 6. All are welcome to attend. News 2 will be there bringing you updates as well. And we'll continue to be here at the headquarters as this search progresses. Live in Sumner County, Caitlin Quisenberry, News 2.
This is scary. This one bugs me a lot too. Something about this bugs me. I don't know if it's because he's autistic or because something seems weird to me. Something seems off with this to me. I don't know why. I don't know what is bugging me so bad about this. Hmm. Good deal. If I was down there, awesome. That's awesome, Clue. Thank you for being that person and doing that. That's awesome. Are they in school this week? I know you down south, they have different things that we don't have up here. Hmm. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Mm. Damn it. There's one more talking about the vigil. Oh, I'm so tired of kids going missing, you guys.
County, city, and state agencies have spent nearly 2 days scouring Sumner County for.
Oh, I mean, it's just sad.
Police say Sebastian walked out of his Shackle Island home Sunday night carrying a flashlight and wearing a black sweatsuit.
These people are like my family.
Okay, so he walked out of his home in the black sweatsuit carrying a flashlight. So he knew he was going somewhere then.
I mean, literally, they're like some of Sebastian's family members are my family. So I directly feel this completely.
Monday night, neighbors and church leaders spent hours praying for Sebastian to be found.
That he would be safe, and that he would continue to comfort family and friends, and even us.
His parents.
I don't know, Deborah, if he was sleepwalking, if he had grabbed a flashlight. That's the only thing that throws me off with that. And I'm sure if he did, that would be something they'd be used to.
Say Sebastian loved playing hide and seek.
And we can only attempt to imagine what they're walking through. So we'll pray specifically for them.
So while police search through yards, sheds, and trees,
we're going to do everything we can do as a community to support the family and the first responders.
By offering to help search and lifting up prayers, fighting back the feeling of being helpless.
You hear about this stuff on TV, but you don't think it's going to happen in your own backyard. It's just, I don't know, it's awful.
For WSMV4, I'm Sharon Denkwa.
Crews say Sebastian could be anywhere. He likes to hide in small spaces, so they're searching every nook and cranny they can think of, including drainage culverts and people's cars. They're hoping the community will be able to help.
Okay, so that tells me that they know that this kid may have walked away on purpose, like completely on purpose, and they're talking about him hiding. So that's what I'm saying. Like, they know that he might be hiding for what and why. I don't know. That's strange to me.
Urge to the public right now would be to check your home videos and stay rested, because when the call comes, we'll put it out on social media, and that's when we'll need you to come.
Authorities say Sebastian's favorite song is Eye of the Tiger, so they've been blasting the song as part of their search to try and calm him and let him know that they're there to help. Our WSMV4 Today team will let you know about any new developments in the search for Sebastian starting at 4 a.m.
We are learning more today about the family of Elijah.
Good Lord. A lot of places that he could hide, sure. All right, you guys, this stuff bugs me so bad. Okay, let's see. There's really no... Jesus, there's so much negative news out here. All right, so the most recent update on Elijah Boo is right here 4 hours ago. Yeah, they're out in the country out there for sure. Reminds me of where I live at.
Told the public they're not giving up, even though the amount of time little Elijah has been missing is extraordinary. We asked a retired Milwaukee police detective for some perspective. He's following this case closely.
You know, if you take a look at that whole investigation, here again, I get a lot of this from just watching the news and reading the paper. It doesn't look good.
More than a week since 3-year-old Elijah Vu vanished.
It's pulling at everybody's heartstrings. We need to find them. Somebody knows something.
Law enforcement revealing
Next,
details
Louis.
about the search.
Both urban and rural, throughout Manitowoc County and even beyond.
But little about the investigation. Do investigators have a reason to believe at this point that there's anyone else involved in his disappearance?
I'm sorry.
That's not uncommon, especially if they're leaning toward a homicide investigation.
Thomas Fisher is a retired Milwaukee homicide detective. He was on the department during the well-known Alexis Patterson case, which is still unsolved. What's going on inside that investigation right now?
Well, I would imagine you have the two people sitting in custody on other charges. I'm sure that their cell phones and their tracking from prior to this disappearance to the day of this disappearance have been searched.
Elijah's mother, Katrina Bauer, and her boyfriend, Jesse Vang, are charged with child neglect. Police say the mom sent her son to Vang's apartment for discipline. Vang told police he would make Elijah stand 2 to 3 hours at a time in timeout, and recently punished him with a cold shower for soiling his diaper.
The red flag pops up. This is the kind of discipline you put a 3-year-old. What else has gone on? And here again, did that discipline go overboard and something happened to that child? Now they have to get rid of the body? Time will tell.
The criminal complaint also says Bauer's cell phone records.
You saw who, Tina? What do you mean you've seen them? Oh, okay. I thought you mean you seen them here or in real life? Ah, okay. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, this one makes me sick. This baby, I can't get this out of my head. I had a couple in a video. Okay, I got you. This has been stuck in my head like you wouldn't believe, you guys.
Show she lied to police about her whereabouts on February 16th and 17th, days before Vang reported Elijah missing. What do you think it indicates that she wasn't truthful about her location?
She knows more than what she's telling law enforcement.
Do you think it's possible that a 3-year-old who simply wandered off would still be missing?
No. In my opinion, if it was something like that, he just walked out the door where the boyfriend was sleeping, he would have been located within a few hours.
I'm sorry, but I agree. Like this child's not with us anymore. I'm sorry to say. If this child, first of all, guys, the man said that he locked a deadbolt, a chain lock, fell asleep, and that child was locked in the room with him. And then when he woke up, the child was gone. Bullshit. That didn't happen that way. That's a blatant lie. I'm sorry, and I said this the other day. I personally feel that this guy, based on his disciplinary actions that he claims, either threw this child into hypothermic shock and he died, or he beat this child for soiling his diaper and he did something with him. And I think the mother knows this, okay? I know I got to keep things light, April, but if I don't, somebody's got to put this stuff out. People have to put these things out. It needs to be seen and heard so that in case somebody knows something, they can say something. And that's what I'm saying, Deborah. You're absolutely right, hon. That's the only thing I can say. I don't know. I've had a bad feeling about this since the second day I was covering this. And it bugs me. I don't even want to think that way, but I just have. That's what I think happened to this child. And I hope those two pieces of garbage wholeheartedly fry for this. That's my thought, Stitches. Now, the only other thing that has crossed my mind is that the mother and this boyfriend together are in this together, and they sold this child into trafficking. That's the only other thing that has crossed my mind. I think he was too, Angel. I think he went missing probably a day or so before that he was actually reported missing. The mother has drug issues. I think the other dude, the boyfriend, did too. I think they could have sold him off for money. Or the mother owed a debt and the boyfriend's covering for her. Give me 1 second, folks. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Right, Licity. I think the best thing that could come out of this situation at this point is that somehow law enforcement figures if it would be the last thing I said that they sold him or handed him off or something, that law enforcement figures that out and can get to those people to get him back. That's the best scenario, in my opinion. But I think something else went down, possibly. And it just bugs me. But I'm going to continue going through this and going through this until we get something out of this. Excuse me. This is just so sad. This is all we talk about, you guys. It's all we talk about. There's so much of it. There's little babies like this are the ones that kill me. This 15-year-old boy has bothered me a lot too. I think it's because he's autistic. That's all I can think of. I don't know, guys. Yeah, there's nothing else there with that. Does anybody have anything to throw it about this or any comments or anything? Hey, from the 3021, good to see you. That would be hope. But I truly, in my gut, feeling Precious Angel is. You are probably right, Angel. Sad, but true. That's the best way to be. I got you, Josie. I just appreciate you being here to see this and have this put out. So. Excuse me again. I got a little cough going on, guys. Sorry. Well, guys, I think that will do it for tonight. Jesus. What in the hell is this about? Hold on a minute. The school shooting? Hold on a minute. I didn't even realize this was here. I don't know if you guys saw this. Have a good night, Licity. Absolutely, Deborah. Absolutely.
Information officer for the Mesquite Police Department.
That is a true fact, April. If you can learn how to say help in sign language, it will save you in a lot of senses. It has happened quite a bit.
This critical incident community briefing is intended to provide you with information about an officer-involved shooting that occurred on the morning of February 19th, 2024. You are about to see relevant video footage and learn about other evidence and police procedures related to the case so you can have a better understanding of what occurred based on what we know right now. The Mesquite Police Department conducts very thorough use of force investigations, which typically require investigators to interview multiple witnesses, view numerous hours of video footage, and analyze a significant amount of forensic evidence. We are still at the very early stages of this investigation, and our understanding of the incident may change as this additional evidence is collected, analyzed, and reviewed. We also do not draw any conclusions about whether the officers acted consistently with our policies and the law until all the facts are known and the investigation is complete. A word of caution: the images and information you are about to see may be disturbing. When a police officer uses force to arrest a suspect or defend against an attack, it can be graphic and difficult to watch. In addition, there may be strong language used by those shown in the video. Viewer discretion is advised,
We'll show you here
especially
as
for
soon as
young
we get to
children
that.
and sensitive viewers. The identities of the involved officers are not being disclosed at this time due to the ongoing investigation. On February 19th, 2024, at 8:49 a.m., an administrator with the Pioneer Technology and Arts Academy Charter School contacted the Mesquite Police Department and advised that there was a student in an office with a handgun, refusing to put it down.
911 Buchanan, what's the address of your emergency? 3200 Old. I'm the assistant principal. No student just pulled a gun. I need someone here now. I am with him. He's fine. I'm calming him down. I need to get someone here now. Okay, I'm getting him started. Where is he right now? He's in my office in room 151 in the building. I'm putting the building on lockdown. Okay, does he still have the gun? Yes, he does. Okay, what is he doing right now? He's just standing. He won't put the gun down.
During the 911 call, administrators are heard telling the student to put the gun on the floor.
I'm not going to leave you.
No, you don't, no. Look, put it down. Put it down. No, put it down. Put it down, Don. Don, put it down.
Please, Jason.
Put it down. No, put it down. You trust me. Put it back on the floor. Put it back on the floor. Back on the floor. Put it back on the floor. Put it back on the floor. Put it back on the floor.
Administrators initiated a lockdown of the campus. The first officer arrived on scene within 2 minutes of receiving the call. An additional officer arrived quickly, and the two officers located the office and observed an administrator standing in the doorway of the office speaking with the student. The administrator advised officers that the student was sitting on a couch and had placed the handgun on the floor at his feet. No one else was in the room.
Is he in here? He still don't move. It's on the floor in front of him. He still don't move. Don, be still, don't move, and I need you to trust me. Do you understand? It's on the floor between his legs.
Officers spoke calmly with the student for approximately 4.5 minutes, attempting to de-escalate the situation and end the incident peacefully.
What's going on today, buddy? Can you talk to us? We would like to help you. That's why we're here. Is anything upset you today?
Just give me the air for a minute.
Can you listen to me closely? Please do not reach for that gun, okay? We don't want anything to happen to you or anyone else. Can you do that for me? What has upset you today? Maybe we could talk about it.
While speaking with the subject, he quickly reaches to the floor to retrieve the handgun. This action can be seen both on officers' body cam as well as CCTV from the school. At this time, one officer fired at the suspect.
Trouble? Okay. We just need you to step away so we can. Shots fired, shots. Hey!
Do you need anything right now? No?
We just need you to step away from the gun, buddy. You're not in trouble? Okay. We just need you to step away so we can. Shots fired, shots. Hey!
The office door began to close. An officer grabbed the door handle, pulling it open to maintain a visual inside the room. As the officer pulled the door open, the suspect can be seen on CCTV, now standing and facing the officers with the handgun raised towards officers in a shooter's stance. At this time, 3 officers fired at the suspect. The office door again closed, and officers continued negotiating through the closed door, advising the suspect to exit the room. The suspect stayed inside the room until complying with commands to exit, where he was then taken into custody. The suspect had an injury to his leg sustained from the shooting. Mesquite Fire Department treated the suspect and transported him to a local area hospital. The police department coordinated with school administrators to enact the reunification plan. The campus was searched as the remaining students and faculty were escorted from the building by officers. The suspect was medically released later that evening and transported to Dallas County Juvenile Detention. No other injuries were reported. The suspect was charged with multiple counts of aggravated assault against a public servant, as well as exhibition of a firearm. In total, 3 officers fired 19 times over the 2 threats encountered by the suspect. A Rossi .38 special revolver possessed by the suspect was recovered by investigators. Subsequent interviews with witnesses revealed that the armed suspect came to the school with intentions of harming others. The suspect was identified as a 16-year-old male student whose identity is being withheld due to his juvenile status. The officers involved were an 8-year veteran, a 5-year veteran, and an officer that recently transferred to the department with 5 years of service with another agency. The Mesquite Police will continue to investigate and analyze this incident. We will continue interviewing witnesses that may come forward and complete any forensic tests. After the investigation is complete, the investigation will be referred to the Dallas County District Attorney's Office for review. As a standard protocol and policy, the Dallas County District Attorney's Office sent investigators to the scene as well to conduct an independent investigation. The Internal Affairs Unit will also conduct an investigation and evaluate the evidence to determine whether the officer's actions and use of deadly force in this instance follow department policy and procedures. Thank you for taking the time to view this critical incident community briefing.
Wow. Wow. Well, at least nobody lost their life during that one, because that could have ended very badly. Very badly. Good Lord, have mercy. Thank God nobody, and thank God they caught this like they did too. That was handled pretty good, I think, other than the guns actually having to be used. So when I went through EMS classes, they taught us rescue and EMS classes. They taught us the sign language, sign for help. If somebody's in danger, for instance, if they're being held against their will, or exactly, Deborah. Some senses, the standardized sign, there's a different versions of it. The one that we were taught, the easiest one, is to go like this with your hand. Okay. And if you can, do this in the direction of the person that is harming you or is trying to harm you. Okay. But if you just do this, it means help. And again, point to that person or the situation that is harming you if you can. That's what the sign is. Amen to that one, Angel. Whatever help this child needs, please give it to him. Please, because we don't need any more. That could have been very bad on a whole lot of levels. He came there to harm people. He didn't, thank God. Didn't get the chance to. And thank God he didn't lose his life either. So, good Lord. There's so much negative stuff going on. It's crazy. Wow. Okay, got you, Deborah. All right, guys, I think that's going to do it for tonight. And if anybody didn't catch what I just showed you with the hand thing, if you're curious, let me know. I'll do it again for you. But it's pretty simple. You hold your thumb up, flat palm, you go like this, and if you can point to the person that's harming you, holding you against your will, whatever it is, you just pull the finger out towards that person if you can do it without being seen. Thank you, Bobby. I try. I do try. I want everybody to see these things and know these things, because the way I look at this, you guys, this is why I do it like this. If I'm broadcasting this to somebody else, and there just happens to be one person that sees this that could be involved or is anywhere around a situation like this, or may have seen or heard something, it could make a difference, guys. That's why I do it like this. That's why I put these things out and talk about these things, especially with missing kids. Okay. There's not much I can do sitting here where I'm at all over the United States, but my voice can be heard, and I can show you things that people don't normally wouldn't go looking for. So I'll be continuously putting things like this out. I always have. So sometimes you get wrapped up in other cases and stuff, and then you forget to do it. But I used to do this a lot back in the day. But anyways, I appreciate you guys supporting this and appreciating it too. I really do. You guys are amazing. Exactly. Thank you for seeing that, Tina. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your night. I love and appreciate each and every one of you guys, and I will see you tomorrow in the afternoon. Tomorrow's Thursday, so yeah. And we'll be hooking into something for sure. And back to what we do. So everybody have a wonderful rest of your night. I love you guys to death. Again, thank you to anybody that has donated anything or anything with the wish list or any of that. God bless you guys. Again, none of it is ever expected, but it is wholeheartedly 100% appreciated. So thank you and God bless. Again, everybody else, please don't forget to love yourselves, to love each other. Don't change a thing about yourselves because you are the beautiful people. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your night. Good night, guys, and God bless. And I will see you so very soon. Bye-bye.